Welcome back to Master Your Ash. I'm your host, Michael Prisdale, and today I have got a green machine in my pairing. So we've got the Illusione CG4 White Horse Double Claro, or as it's more commonly referred to in today's current climate, the Candela Wrapped CG4. And this cigar comes to us from Illusione, from master blender Dion Giolito, who's a fellow Nevada boy. He's the owner of Fumare Cigar Lounge in Reno, and I have personally had an opportunity to both visit with him and at his cigar lounge. It's a fantastic lounge. You should go up there if you want to try to find some of the unobtainable, if you will, products that Illusione produces every single year. The CG4 stands for Corona Gorda. That's the size and shape that we're dealing with today. And with the Corona Gorda, you typically have between about a 46, 48 ring gauge, and it's usually right around 4 inches in length. So with this one, the Corona Gorda, you have about an extra inch, inch and a quarter, and it just kind of rounds out to a really preferable cigar size for somebody like myself who is enjoying of that particular vitola shape and size. I'm pairing that with my other green machine, Chartreuse. And for those of you that are familiar with Chartreuse, you understand this is the green bottle, hence its green label, and it's also 110 proof, aka 55% ABV. The recipe comes from the Carthusian monks, circa 1605, and it's traveled around from French distillery to some Italian distilleries to some Spanish distilleries, but has always remained kind of a staple in the French liqueur and very, very high quality mixers for a lot of our traditional cocktails, aka the Last Word, the Bijou. All of those wonderful drinks encompass the use of chartreuse in their traditional recipes. And overall, it's a fun one just to drink on its own. The proprietary blend in the liqueur itself has over 50 different herbs, barks, seeds, roots, and ingredients, and most of it is kept secret. The beauty of chartreuse is that it comes in the green bottle in the 110 proof. Then there's also the yellow chartreuse variation. That variation itself has a little bit of honey to the blend, so it's a little bit sweeter, not as intense up front, and also the alcohol by volume is slightly lower in the yellow. They also produce a VEP, which is a very special expression that is barrel aged a little bit longer and also has some fun extra ingredients in the blend. Super aromatic. Very, very interesting. Overall, the notes on it range from saffron to vanilla to different types of cardamom and baking spices. It has a full spectrum of aromatics flowing in. I'm going to take a little sip. Condition the palate a little bit. On the palate, you're looking at everything from butterscotch to root beer, maybe even some earthy vegetal notes that I think are going to play really nicely with the cigar that I'm going to bounce back over to as I cut and light. So, our CG4 White Horse. This is a Candela wrapper, hence the green color. The wrapper is achieved by the trapping of the chlorophyll in the leaves. So most, if not all, cigars that we come across will be heat cured in one way, shape, or form and another. There's fire, there's flume cured, and all different variations to the heat curing. But with this specific Candela wrapper made in Nicaragua by Dion Giolito's team, this particular one captures all of the chlorophyll in the leaf and renders the wrapper the exact same color that it pretty much starts out as, which is this really fun green Candela wrapper. On the inside, you can see the actual blend in Nicaraguan tobaccos. It's brown. The cut also renders the brown blend of Nicaraguan tobaccos. Really, really well aged and well made for this cigar. Most people feel as though that with Candela wrapped cigars, they're kind of a throwback to an era where there weren't a lot of well-aged tobaccos out there to smoke, and most of the Candela wrappers are also green on the inside with a lot of the tobacco in the blend, whereas this is not. So this, I found in the first two that I smoked, doesn't offer the same kind of subtlety as the traditional Candelas that are out there. With Dion Giolito, a master blender, you're actually getting a full medium plus variety cigar with this, and you're getting one that's going to be substantial enough to stand up to, I believe, even a 55% alcohol by volume Chartreuse. And that was one of the reasons why I selected this pairing today, was to showcase and talk about the fact that just because something looks a certain way doesn't always lend to the fact that it's going to create that type of pairing. So let's talk about the CG4. 100% Nicaragua Puro. So with that being said, Candela wrapper from Nicaragua. Binder and filler, also Nicaraguan. There's a mixture of Criollo and Corojo tobaccos in the blend. Both, I believe, are variations of the 98 or 99 that in previous episodes with Drew Estate, Frank Moreno and I discussed, aka Frankie Dranks. Thank you so much, Frankie, for being on the show. With this particular blend, one of the reasons why I love it so much is because the Candela wrapper usually offers a lot of nice, earthy, woodsy kind of tones to it, but the actual blend of both the Criollo and the Corojo, they offer that spice, those hot chocolate baking spices that we talked about, where you get some cinnamon layers, you get some cardamom layers, and then also there's that leather oaky nuttiness to it. So for the first third, what I have is I have the grassy wrapper, the slight vegetal notes, and almost like a sweet cream that comes through. Pairing this with Chartreuse. Chartreuse exemplifies and enhances the sweet cream kind of coating, then adds another extra layer of spice, some heat, because obviously we're dealing with 110 proof spirit here, so 55% alcohol by volume. It's going to be a little bit stronger than most of the stuff that you're just grabbing off the shelf to mix with. But the one consistent with these two is that the vegetal notes of the Chartreuse play off of the vegetal notes on that grassy Candela wrapper, and I think that it makes a very, very complementary pairing. Once again, Dion Giolito, he is one of those pioneers in boutique salon brands that I feel as though does a fantastic job of maintaining his own unique expression on his cigars. So I've been a fan of his initial line of cigars, which the CG4, not in the Candela variety, but in his original batch variety, was part of, and I think that the Corona Gorda is one of my favorite styles of Vitola and shape, and I just wanted to briefly point that out and talk about the fact that along with Room 101 that we featured on the channel, along with Drew Estate, along with Pete Johnson over at Tatuaje, Illusione and Dion Giolito, they do a fantastic job over there of blending their cigars, about being true to who they are as cigar pioneers and a boutique brand and a fun brand that comes out with all new creative ideas every single year, it seems like. And then they take an expression that they've already been doing for a while, like a Candela wrapper, and they throw that on a cigar that is very well deserving in its blend of such a fine wrapper. On the second third of the smokes that I had before I came on the channel today to record this, I tasted a lot more leather earthiness that comes through, a touch more oak and spice. It just seemed to kind of build up from there. And the beauty of that was I was already pretty much on my last little bit of the first pour of Chartreuse that I had. So when I went in for another pour, the honey and the sweetness of the Chartreuse really helped to complement the cigar. And I felt as though that throughout the entire smoking experience, it was a complementary pairing. I think that a lot of people that are used to other brands that have had Candela wrappers in the past, they've tasted super duper grassy notes, a ton of earthy tones to it, and really lacked the consistency in the blend to have something that could stand up to most spirits. You know, they were more thought of as, you know, you're gonna have one of those maybe with a mojito, or you're gonna have one of those with just a really, really light soda, and just enjoy the smoking experience. I even think that the Fuente family, for the It's a Boy, It's a Girl boxes back in the day, had some Candela wrappers that they would just hand out to family and friends. And it was just to commemorate the birth of a child, really. It wasn't even smoked. But this is something that you should definitely pick up. Price point on this is gonna be right around $9 or $10 MSRP a stick. Obviously, if you live out in Nevada like I do, the tobacco tax is much higher, so you have to deal with that. But overall, seek these out while they're available. Grab a box. I think that they're fantastic. I think it's something that you should incorporate in your everyday smokes if you can obviously afford it. With green chartreuse, typically these range somewhere between $50 to $60 a bottle. So in terms of a liqueur, it is going to be more on the pricey, expensive side, but for good reason. This is something that you find in classic cocktails all the time. So for those drink enthusiasts out there that want to make a last word authentically at home, that want to make an authentic bijou, this is going to be a key ingredient to having your staple. And you should treat it like a very fine spirit that it is, and you should drink it both neat and also as a modifying / base ingredient in some of your cocktails. And I think that you'll find a ton of utility in the bottle and that your investment was wisely done and wisely made. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Michael Prisdale. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let us know below if there's anything that you would like to see on the channel in terms of pairing a cigar, a particular spirit, or even a cocktail. And thank you so much for watching.